switch these lists here. Ali playing, the first thing that jumps out at me, Snapcaster Mage. That's the first one of those we've seen all day. Just one copy, but he's playing kind of an interesting looking list, as he is
Ali's playing an interesting deck? How many colors does it have?
Yeah, well, I see white, blue, green. It looks like it may just be Bants.
Oh, come on, Ali.
But this is not like Bant control, Reed Duke Bant control kind of thing. He's got, under his creatures column, 1 Urban Evolution.
All right, that does not surprise me at all.
He's playing Restoration Angel, Snapcaster Mage, Thrag Tusk. He's got, this is a crazy looking deck. He's got Tameo in here. I forgot she was legal. I didn't really, but she haven't seen her in a long time. She was cleaning her socks, I guess. So Supreme Verdict, Jace Architect of Thought, Farseek, Dissipate, Garruk Primal Hunter, Terminus Syncopate, Sphinx's Revelation, Essence Scatter, Advent of the Worm, another card. I was just talking about this the other day. Like, where'd it go? It's such a good card.
It'll come back.
A 4-mana 5/5.
There's no way that card
with
is
Flash.
not insane at some point in Standard. It's not possible.
Seriously. Azorius Charm, Think Twice, and a Singleton Cyclonic Rift. Any weird lands? I mean, he's got the Alchemist Refuge. Gotta love that.
I absolutely love that card. Somehow he's found a way to get a Ghost Quarter in his deck as well, even though he's like, a million colors.
11 colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the Elder Scale Worm in the board. That's kind of a one of staple in the Bant control lists, circa just a couple months ago, I guess. Reed Duke, I think, advocated it in his list. He's got 4 copies of Voice of Resurgence in the board as well. Interesting to see that. Got Blind Obedience as well. We're seeing a lot of that due to Kibler. Blame Kibler for the Blind Obedience.
It's his fault.
It is. We've got an Aetherling in there. So, pretty spicy list from Ali. That is nothing new. What are these guys' records? 4-1, I believe. I believe BBD was 4-1, so I'm imagining Ali.
Yeah,
is
we're
as well.
coming in at 5-1.
Or 5-1.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry. So it should be 5-1.
Yeah.
We are in round 7 now, right?
We're 5-1 moving into
It says round
7.
6 down there, but are we in 7?
Yeah, we're in 7.
That last round went by so fast, talking spoilers and everything. Forgot that the whole round went by.
Some people are saying that you can ramp into a turn 3 Primal Bounty with
a Satyr or Satyr.
Cider.
Satyr.
Tater salad.
I like Eric Osby. Monstrosity. It's going to be huge.
It's accurate. It is going to be accurate. I hope that ability is awesome. I really do. But I trust I trust R&D. I do. They've been killing it with sets recently.
I like, thanks Andrew Smith for the Carl Kopinski info there for the artist. And I like, here's 2 nicknames. Brandon Carr says, let's call the Hydra Polly.
Okay.
It's just a nice little nickname. I like Sean Thrasher says it's Polyukranos, World Eater, so it's P-Eater, so it's Peter the Hydra.
We're going a little deep there.
That's a little deep, but it's easier to say.
It is explained. Peter the Hydra?
Peter the Hydra is much easier to say than Polyukranos. Polyukranos? I don't know. Peter. I'm going with Peter for now until something better comes along. I like
Peter
that one.
the Hydra.
All
Submit
right.
what we should call.
Yeah, we like.
I just want to call it the World Eater because that's awesome. Can I call it Bray Wyatt? The Eater of Worlds? Some of you wrestling fans will get that joke. We're underway here in round 7.
We are. Orzhov Guildgate leads with Orzhov Guildgate. Ali has a turn 2 Farseek off of a Breeding Pool and a Temple Garden. So just getting things set up here. Ali able to ramp and also kind of press the advantage here with being on the play.
Oh.
Double Guildgate from BBD.
Guildgate. I just like that BBD has fully embraced the Orzhov Guildgate.
Yeah.
It's what got him to the dance, and now he's just going to keep it going.
That's right.
Now, Ali's deck is, a band control deck, as you guys see there, and I think this is going to be a difficult matchup for BBD just because Ali's deck is doing some pretty unfair things. I mean, it's this control shell that is based around Sphinx's Revelation and Farseek. A deck that we saw a lot of. We saw a lot of this deck with Reed Duke top 8ing back-to-back Grand Prix in Charleston and San Antonio with it, winning the Invitational in Los Angeles with it. P.S. Reed Duke's really good at Magic. This deck is it's not as good as it used to be, but it is good against strategies. It's very, very good against, mid-range strategies. That's what this kind of deck kind of just chews up and spits out.
Right. It takes some time to get set up, so it has that time. It's going to really punish the opponent. So, second Farseek from Ali passes back to BBD, who follows up with a Vampire Nighthawk, and now I think twice from Ali in his main phase. apparently does not have a land drop despite all that far seeking. Gonna go ahead and think twice again in his main phase. Finds a land. It's a hinterland harbor.
I hope he finally has 27 in his deck.
And passes back.
See, the difference here between BBD's deck and Ollie's is, or I would say BBD's deck and Jun, excuse me, is that, for BBD's deck, he's a deck that's very, very good against like other mid-range decks and creature decks, but he's a lot softer against pure control decks. Whereas Jund, they hedge against everything and they can sideboard into connections and duresses and more Rakdos returns and already have Garrett. BBD doesn't have the luxury to do that. He's got really efficient creatures like Desecration Demon and Restoration Angel, stuff like that, but he doesn't have, like a Rakdos return type effect or something, just like some cards to really blow the doors open if Ollie taps out. That's what he doesn't have access to.
So BBD passes a turn. Ollie lands a Jace, Architect of Thought. He pluses it up to 5, and BBD follows up with a Restoration Angel. No surprise there. I'm sure Ollie wasn't surprised either. We know, well, theoretically, there's an Azorius Charm, and I'm actually sure there is because I saw it, and there it is. You can see it at the front there. Ollie is going to be able to Azorius Charm if he wants, but he doesn't. In fact, he just lets Jace take the damage. Now, Jace plus blast turn, so that Cumberstone effect is making the Nighthawk hit for 1 and the Angel hit for 2, so Jace just goes down to 2. Obsidat joins the force on Brian's side of the board. He's going to go ahead and drain him and brain him, and then he's going to blink out so that if Ollie decides he wants to use a Supreme Verdict, Obsidat will still be around.
Yeah, we talk about cards that Jund doesn't have. Obsidat would be one of them. This is the card that makes things difficult for Ollie that Jund doesn't have access to, as now the Obsidat's going to come back in. BBD has a lot of experience playing with Obsidat. I'm sure he's talked to Ollie at some point. These two are very, very good friends. I'm sure he's aware what Ollie is playing.
Yeah.
But BBD has played against a lot of Azorius Charms when he was playing Junk Reanimator and doing well with that deck. And so I know he knows that he has them in his deck, as Ollie, so I would be very, very surprised to see BBD attack this turn.
Yeah, so you see the Verdict cleans up the board, but the Obsidat remains. BBD casts a Sign in Blood targeting himself. Get a couple of extra cards. Ollie with 2 mana open, as you mentioned, for that Azorius Charm, or BBD to decide to attack here. And looks like he's going to activate his Mutavault.
I'm so surprised by this. I really am.
Yeah, with both. So Obsidat's going to get that Azorius Charm to the face. Mutavault's going to, hit Jace for 1 or hit Ali for 1? It's like Ali.
Yeah, I think what his plan was that turn for BBD was to attack, try to kill Jace with the Obsidat, get him 1 point of damage. You can make the argument that Mutavault should go over towards Jace, because if he does, then, as you see the separation there of Revelation versus, but if Mutavault attacks Jace that turn, then it's down to 2, and then it would actually be dead now if Ollie wanted to cash it in.
Yeah. So Jace -2 sees 3 cards: Glacial Fortress, Temple Garden, and Sphinx's Revelation. Immediately BBD splits the Revelation from the lands. Not so immediately, Ali is trying to decide whether he wants those lands or the Revelation. Ali likes his lands.
I'm a touch surprised by this as well.
You can't be that surprised, because Ali really likes lands. It looks like he wants to cast a spell before he decides. Can I?
Wow,
he takes the lands and puts the Revelation. So this is. It's a pretty interesting decision.
I mean, that's an interesting decision only if he doesn't, if he has Revelation in hand already, then I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I don't think he has one.
I didn't see one either. He's going to flash back and think twice here after playing a land, I believe. Draws another land. He loves those lands. He's going to tap 5 and play a Tamiyo.
Tap a land.
Tap that Mutavault or taps the Mutavault, yeah. So Socks with Sandals joins Jace, Architect of Thought.
Socks with Sandals is making it so that BBD can't recast his Obsidat, and he just has to pass the turn back now. So Tamiyo, really, really good there.
Tamiyo, another card, pretty good against these mid-range strategies. Typically having just 1 or 2 creatures on board. I guess it depends on how things get out of hand, but right now Tamiyo's looking real good, keeping that Mutavault tapped down. Jace pluses, and Ali looks to flash back a second copy of Think Twice. Finds another Temple Garden. I think his hand is. I think he played that Hallowed Fountain from last turn.
Yeah, he's got a couple of lands. He's got a Thrag Tusk. He doesn't have a lot of action. I think he's got a Verdict hanging out in his hand as well. Verdict not the best against BBD's deck. This is going to play a Restoration Angel on Aintrazi's end step.
So Angel threatening to take out Jace here. She does attack for 2 because of Jace's +1.
Yep.
But that's enough to take out the Jace. So I think that's what's happening. Yep.
It's a good start.
BBD takes out the Jace. Ali's kind of fine with that. BBD has another land, now able to cast that Obsidat. Drain him and brain him and flash him out, or blink him out. Or whatever you want to say, phase him out. BRB, says BBD, and Obsidat.
So Thragtusk the draw step here for Ali. Yeah, I like attacking here to start, kind of knock BBD down to 20. Yeah, Tamio's going to move up to 7 now. Let's see what's going to tap. If it's going to tap down the Angel, if he wants to go after lands again.
Yeah, there's no indication. I'm not sure what he...
It looks like he pointed at the Angel.
Did he point?
The Angel can take care, can actually start whittling away at Tamio.
I imagine it would be the Angel.
Yeah, so I would imagine that it would be the Angel as well. There's another Thragtusk to follow up with. It's kind of we're in a situation here, if you're Aintrazi, to just protect the Queen.
Yeah.
The Queen just happens to be Tamio this turn.
Yeah. Mutavault was the
Taps on
choice.
Mutavault, okay.
Very interesting. I guess that's an Azorius charm for something. Angel, I imagine, and Thragtusk get in front of Obsidat if that's where BBD starts to focus his efforts. Ali at 17 now after that second Thragtusk. Is that a Geralt's Messenger in front of BBD's hand, I believe?
He's got a Messenger and a couple other cards. We know that he has a lot of spells because he gets the land drop, so if anything, he would have 1 land in his hand. He's got a lot of spells in his hand right now. He's going to attack Tamio and knock that down to 5. Or down to 4, excuse me.
At 7, yeah.
Wow,
Obsidat
that's a turn.
phases out.
Kind of representing another Restoration Angel here.
Ali draws Hinterland Harbor.
The bad thing here for BBD is that Aintrazi has a Sphinx Revelation in his hand. So we're looking at a big Revelation to start things off.
So Tamio pluses. But I imagine the Mutavault this turn since it was the Mutavault last turn.
He gets the resto this turn.
Oh, I guess the Angel this time. Okay. Obsidat comes back. Drain him and brain him.
So he can kill the Tamio?
Yeah.
I mean, at least attempt to attack.
Right, he can attack the Tamio. And no Azorius Charm, Tamio would eat it. And it looks like there's no Azorius Charm. Yeah, so Tamio absorbs the hit from Obsidat. I'm surprised because I thought Ali was going for that ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, not valuing Tamio as highly as I thought he might, but I may have gotten him to the point in the game that he's happy with, which is, okay, I can resolve my first big Revelation. I'm holding off you attacking my life total at all, and I'm just very happy with where I'm at this juncture.
BBD appears to have some sort of play here. Looks like a Geralt's Messenger, considering he's tapping 3 and has that at the front of his hand. Right. Yep. Geralt's Messenger will do 2 when it comes in.
Aintrazi will momentarily be at 13.
Yeah. And as he separates 3 lands from the rest of the pack, he's going to draw 8 here. Sphinx's Revelation for 8 from Ali.
You know, again, it's funny because you see how good a Revelation here is here in this matchup. So you're thinking to yourself, well, geez, man, like, you know, why would you play black white? You can't beat a Revelation deck. But Revelation decks just aren't that prevalent right now.
Oh yeah,
because blue has been so much worse. You know, you look at Aintrazi's deck, you have to imagine when you're looking at his lands that he is very, very soft to Burning Earth.
And BBD is going to go ahead and take this opportunity while Ali is tapped out to Ultimate Price and then Tragic Slip, both Thragtusks.
Yep.
Leaving Ali with 2 Todd Andersons on the field. He did reach for Cedric, but ended up with Todd.
Yeah, I'm not quite a beast.
More of a goblin.
Yeah.
And Ali, 8 more cards here in hand to start his turn. So with 11 lands in play, he draws an Alchemist Refuge for the
That
turn.
was actually a pretty good one to draw, honestly.
Yeah, it is
because now he can start instant speeding Terminus or Supreme Verdict and stuff like that. And that's actually a really big deal because that means he can actually catch an Obsidat. So that's a huge draw.
Plays that for the turn. It's a 1 of in the deck.
That was easily my favorite one of in the back control deck when Reed was having a lot of success with it. Same with Andrew Cuneo.
I had a lot of fun playing that card.
It's just this land that, you know, it's just incredible how it changes the game for both sides of the board. And how you're just at the mercy of, all right, activate Alchemist Refuge, do X, you know, do Y, do Z. It's just really, really difficult card to beat.
So both beasts get in for 6, and a Garruk Primal Hunter will come and bring a third beast to Ali's side of the board.
So you see Ali's hand, he has mostly lands in it right now. Again, he's playing 27 of them. You see a Farseek as well. He's got another Farseek over there. He's sitting with 3 rats in his hand, 2 copies of Supreme Verdict and a Terminus, and he can push through the old Alchemist's Refuge, but he's sitting with not a lot of action and a lot of lands, and it looks like this Garruk may have to do a lot of the work here moving forward.
Yeah, right now Ali at a safe life total, 19 after that Obsidat brained him, or drained him, whichever way you want to call it.
Either one, you're close.
He actually did both. 1 damage was the drain and 1 was the brain.
Yep.
Maybe. BBD up to 10 off of that, and BBD's going to swing in with everybody. So Ali wants to do something here. Obsidat, Giralf's Messenger, and Restoration Angel coming over. So does he trade with the front half of Restoration Angel? These are all coming at Garruk, by the way. He's going to trade with the, not Restoration, Giralf's Messenger.
What you're going to see here is you're going to see him block here, and he's going to get in front of everything. He does have to actually cast it so his Garruk's going to live. So he's not going to get to trade with it. It's just blocked momentarily. Messenger comes back in because of Undying. It's going to drain Aintrazi a little bit here. So, I mean, his Garruk is still alive. That's the most important thing. And now here's a Disciple Bullet to draw some cards.
And Disciple is going to sacrifice the second half, the back half of that Giralf's Messenger. And BBD gets a little mini Sphinx's Revelation of his own.
I think there's another Messenger to follow up, because that actually be good. All right, Vampire Nighthawk.
Nighthawk, pretty good. Not as good as Messenger, I don't think.
I mean, there's a little bit of a trade-off here where, you know, that one flies so it can actually get after Garruk. Cyclonic Rift, the card drawn for Aintrazi this turn.
Very much in overload range at this point.
Yeah.
And Garruk's going to bring along another beast. And Ali passes the turn.
Cyclonic Rift actually acting as like a miniature Wrath of God right now, honestly. Just because how it sets BBD back to square one.
Yeah.
All by itself. Yes, the things aren't gone permanently, but it's not really about them being gone permanently. It's just having enough time to just keep getting set up, maybe find another Revelation and put the game away.
Yeah, Brian, who was at 8 a few minutes ago, now up to 14 after just a couple of Obsidat triggers and Disciple of Bolas. And now you see the Vampire Nighthawk is going to swing at Garruk, knock him down to 3. BBD's side of the board is Disciple of Bolas and Vampire Nighthawk alongside 7 lands. Taps 4 for another copy of Disciple of Bolas.
Trying to get deeper in this deck, trying to keep up with the card advantage machine that is Bant Control, I guess.
And Disciple of Bolas, another card that we've been seeing a lot of this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm terribly surprised. I mean, at some point this card had to be good, I feel like. I think it's just too good not to be seeing more play.
So Disciple number 2 sacrifices Disciple number 1. Swamp, and I think it was either a Guild Gate or, actually I think it was an Isolated Chapel.
Another land.
A dual land for BBD. Plays that Swamp. Ali's going to go ahead and make use of that Alchemist Refuge for an instant speed Farseek.
Land out of my deck.
Just one of those things. I'm just like, why not?
More importantly, shuffling his deck again. Remember that Sphinx's Revelation was put to the bottom many turns ago from Jace Architect of Thought.
Very good point.
Yeah. So being able to have access to that again is really, really important here. I'm not sure if he's going to cast any more spells to that Refuge or not. Again, it gives all your spells flashing on the turn, not just one.
That's the crazy thing is you're actually able to do a ton of different things if you have the mana.
Yeah. He's going to not cast Terminus or Verdict, though. He'll be happy with his board position. I think he just drew a Dissipate, I believe.
So, Ali untaps, now is going to swing in with the Beast.
Yep, the draw was Dissipate. That's a pretty good draw, actually, for Aintrazi.
Yeah, he's got a Dissipate, a Syncopate, a double Essence Scatter, so 4 counterspells. I believe that's the first one we've seen all game.
I don't think that there's a lot of cards that Ali wants to counter,
Mm-hmm.
but there are enough that the Dissipate is actually really good right now because it takes care of like the 1 or 2 cards that he actually cares about. You see, BBD is going to block the Beast token with Disciple Ball so he can turn on a Tragic Slip that is Morbid, and I think his plan here is going to be to activate Univault and try to kill that Garrick. But as we know, that's not going to work all that well.
Yeah, not if the Ali doesn't want it to. Blind Obedience from BBD. Not nearly as effective against Ali as it was against the green-red Kibler deck.
It's kind of interesting though. Like, you take a look at Blind Obedience in the context of this game. Garrick is using its own beast to protect itself, but those beasts are going to come into play tapped. And I think that Garrick is actually very, very important for Ali to be able to win this game.
So as you mentioned, activation of Mutavault from BBD is going to attempt to kill that Garrick, and Ali says, "I'll instant speed Supreme Verdict to clear the board," and Garrick survives to fight another turn.
Tough spot for BBD there too, where he doesn't have a follow-up at all. Just plays a Blind Obedience, gets his things killed via a Flash Supreme Verdict, and then just has to pass the turn back. So no follow-up is kind of a dagger. Now here's a Sign in Blood with Extort, try to get this party started yet again. But he's got to do something about that Garrick. He needs to get it off the table.
So right now the board is on Ali's side a Garrick with 5 counters, 5 loyalty counters, and a Beast that is tapped due to the Blind Obedience. On BBD's side, a Blind Obedience and a freshly cast Geralf's Messenger that is going to drain Ali for 2.
Ali trying to pass the turn back. Ali decided he did not need to counter that Geralf's Messenger. He does have Dissipate and Syncopate in his hand right now.
And plenty more mana than BBD. So Syncopate's pretty live.
You see BBD takes a look at Garrick, wondering what the ultimate does. We'll bring it up on the screen for you guys because it's a whole lot of worms.
It will be quite a few worms, I think. Should we see Ali ultimate the Garrick?
Some joke about can of worms here is appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm not really quick on my feet with those. So. The Victim of Night.
Victim of Night on the untapped Beast from BBD. There you see the Garrick. His -6, which he's got 6 loyalty right now. Put a 6/6 green worm creature. Put a 6/6 green worm creature token onto the battlefield for each land you control. That's somewhere in the neighborhood of more than a dozen lands right now, I think.
We're right
at a dozen, yeah. So a dozen 6/6s.
You see Ali's going to tap all of his mana real quick, or at least a decent chunk of it.
Yeah, so you see the Geralf's Messenger is going to swing at the Garrick to try to keep it off of ultimate, and I believe we're going to see an Alchemist Refuge to Terminus here. I think. Maybe not. No, he's just got Cyclonic Rift. That's right. So he can just go ahead and bounce that not only the Messenger, but the Blind Obedience. Of course, BBD can just recast the Blind Obedience, which is what it looks like he's going to cast here. Ali says thumbs up. He could also recast the Messenger. And that one's going to get the Essence Scatter.
Okay.
And
funny thing here is, like, the thing with BBD's deck is that he has 2 Mutilates in his main deck that he can actually use to clear up all of those worm tokens, but because Aintrazi has a Dissipate and a Syncopate, I don't think that either one is going to resolve. You see Aintrazi asking BBD how many swamps he has. He has 3 Godless Shrines and 3 swamps.
yeah.
So he can double mutilate and kill those. He can single mutilate and kill them.
But he'll need to double mutilate to kill
he'll
them
need to double mutilate,
fight through
and
the
I
counter.
don't think that both will resolve because he has Syncopate and Dissipate in his hand. You see Aintrazi has removed the die from the Garrick, so he's counting how many lands he has,
Yeah, I think
and that's how many worms are
13
coming
now.
in. Yeah.
Very likely.
Some unnecessarily large number.
Yeah. We don't have enough dice.
Yeah, there's more of those. The thing is that we don't have enough worms. Trust me.
So,
Yeah.
so 12, 13 worms. Oh, more. Is that
Was that a 16?
Is that 16? There must have been some lands off off camera because I thought I saw a dozen.
Oh yeah, your turn.
BBD's like, that's all right. I got these mutilates.
Sure, I don't even know if he has a mutilate in his hand right now. I know it's getting countered if he does have one.
Garrett Young.
This will be interesting to see how BBD decides he wants to fight this.
Garrett Young, your commission's ready over the alternate boots.
Well, it works like this. It's mutilate or bust.
Yeah.
So how he's going to start with Liliana.
Liliana with Extort.
Extort.
Ali's got so many cards, he's probably like, that's fine.
Yeah.
You make me sacrifice a creature? I guess I'll sacrifice this tapped beast. Actually, aren't those worms all tapped?
In theory, yes, they are all tapped. They are all tapped. This is getting dissipated, and everything's getting picked up, so it doesn't end up mattering all that much.
Yeah.
Game state, we would like to obviously have it be as accurate as possible, but it doesn't end up mattering that much, as Aintrazi is going to win in game number 1 against Braun Duin.
By ultimating Garrick,
Yes.
Primal Hunter.
Something we don't actually get to see that often.
No. Usually, even if it's looming, you get the scoop, right?
Yeah.
Although BBD had that mutilate, so I understand why he said, wait a second.
You gotta give it a shot.
See if I can resolve this mutilate, because that ultimate may not even be relevant if he doesn't have a counterspell. So BBD falls in game 1. He's going to have 2 games to make it up.
He's going to be on the play for game 2. So take a look at his sideboard to begin with. You've got 1 Doomblade, an additional Blind Obedience. His 3rd one is in his sideboard. 3 copies of Duress, an additional Obsidian, Ghost Council. That's his 3rd one to go along with his 2 in his main. Curse of Deathhold, an additional Mutilate. 2 Pithing Needle, 2 Underworld Connections, 1 Ultimate Price, 1 Lilianaville, and 1 Vampire Nighthawk. So out goes the removal, in comes the real cards for the control matchup. Those real cards are 3 Duress, 1 Obsidian, 2 Underworld Connections is 6, 2 copies of Pithing Needle could be number 7 and number 8, and then Liliana could be number 9 if you want to board in all 9 of those cards. Plenty of cards to sideboard out here. We take a look at Mutilate, that being 2, Victim of Night being 4, Tragic Slip being 6, Doomblade and Ultimate Price being number 7 and number 8. So I think he's going to board out a lot of his removal spells. He knows that Ali doesn't have a ton of creatures in his deck, as these 2 players, again, are very familiar with each other. Ali playing just 4 Snapcaster Mage, 1 Restoration Angel, 4 Thragtusk, 1 Snapcaster, and 1 Restoration Angel. So I think the removal comes out, those anti-control elements come in, and we shuffle up and deal on the Black-White Orzhov Guildgate side.
So Ali's sideboard is an additional copy of Supreme Verdict, 1 Elder Scale Worm, 4 Voice of Resurgence, a Pithing Needle, a Dispel, a Ray of Revelation, a Negate, a Jace Memory Adept, a Detention Sphere, an Aetherling, and 2 Blind Obedience. So quite a few one-ofs here.
We got a brew.
Yeah. How do you fight a deck like BBD's with a sideboard like this? What do you think?
I don't think you have to change a lot. I like Jace Memory Adept as a way to close the game out very, very quickly, do the mill 10, and also just being a card drawing engine, so I think that's going to want to join the party. I like Detention Sphere coming in because it's not something that BBD can really get off the board. He does have 2 Oblivion Rings, but those Oblivion Rings are going to have a lot of stress on them because they're going to want to take care of Planeswalkers as well. So I like that card. I like the Detention Sphere. I like Aetherling as a quick way to close out the game once you actually do have control of it. So I expect BBD to sideboard out a lot of his removal.
Possibly Pithing Needle for opposing. Well, but he's only got Liliana, right?
Yeah.
I'm picturing Garrick because I keep seeing
In this
BBD's
type of deck?
as that style deck, and I just saw Garrick, but no, it was on the other side. So yeah, the Pithing Needle not so appealing. And then I look at Obsidian as a potential problem. He doesn't really have any instant speed removal. He has Blind Obedience, but that doesn't exactly solve the issue. It just keeps Obsidian from attacking.
Yeah, it makes Obsidian, less good. But again, I don't think that BBD is going to attack a lot of times into Ali's open mana due to Azorius Charm. So I think that Blind Obedience, it can be fine in this matchup, but I don't think it's great. And I don't think it's worth sideboarding in and investing 2 spots. I don't think that Ali's going to change a lot of his main deck in this matchup.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really much of a reason to.
Maybe an additional copy of Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, I think that would be okay. How much do you want to load up on Wrath effects, where BBD's way to probably go about winning the game is Messenger, a Disciple of Bolas, which gets its value pre-Wrath, and then Obsidian, which is going to move in and out, and Restoration Angel as well, which is going to come in and at least get 3 points of damage in. So how much value you're going to get out of Wrath in this matchup, I think it's completely different when you get to Alchemist's Refuge.
Right, that's when you have the Refuge, you love the Wraths.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely in love, as you said, with the Wraths once you have Refuge. I think you're in love with this deck once you have Refuge and the necessary mana to just get going.
Right.
It changes every aspect of the game.
So if you're just joining us, I'm Joey Pasco in the booth with Cedric Phillips, and we're coming to you guys live from Baltimore. This is round 7 of 10 of the StarCityGames.com Standard Open. We're watching Ali Aintrazi with his interesting, very Ali Aintrazi take on
very
that control.
Ali-esque,
It's
yeah.
an Ali-esque deck versus a very BBD-esque deck from BBD playing Orzhov Guildgate as his weapon of choice today. Down a game to Ali, although he did put up quite a fight. Garrick Primal Hunter's ultimate will kind of, well, it's kind of tough to deal with unless you've got a mutilate.
Yeah,
that is
a mute of
uncounterable.
something.
Some guy. He has mutavault and mutilate.
Yeah.
It's mute of Orzhov, mute of Gate. I don't know. So yeah, Brian did have a mutilate there to clear up the worms. Unfortunately for him, Ali had the dissipate for the mutilate. So that
There you
wasn't
go.
great.
The dissipate for the mutilate.
And that's it. It wasn't great
Nice.
for BBD.
I didn't know you rapped in your spare time.
For Orzhov.
What's your rap
Guildgate.
name?
I don't know. What's my
What do you mean you
rap
don't know?
I haven't come up with a rap.
Affinity
name.
for islands?
Sure, we'll go with that.
All right. AF Affinity. I could call you AFI.
AFI, but see, there's an AFI.
Yeah, there's already AFI. They're really good too.
Yeah, I'm not at rapping.
Hey. You can do this. I believe that you can do this.
All right, stop.
I'll call you AFI and listen.
Collaborate.
Oh.
And listen.
Yeah, it's a good song. So BBD will be on the play for game numero dos against Mr. Aintrazi. A little fun fact about BBD: he's never beaten Ali in a sanctioned match.
Oh, that's interesting.
He can't.
Did he write that on his?
He did. He can't climb the hurdle. Never defeated Ali in a sanctioned match. Ali says BB and I were roommates, and we both lost 100 pounds. If you guys follow either one of these players, they have both taken the weight loss challenge and won.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of both of these guys.
Slim and trim.
It must be nice, I must say. It's got to be a good
It's
feeling.
impressive. I mean, it takes a lot of work.
I'm being 100% sincere when I say I'm very proud of both of them that they did
Yeah.
that. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. I was a wrestler in high school. I know what it's like to lose weight.
We get a high five
difficult
there.
and oftentimes miserable.
So, turn 1, Godless Shrine from BBD, and Ali leads with a Hallowed Fountain. Swamp, Sun Petal Grove. We're just going back and forth with land drops so far. And a Geralf's Messenger will be the first play of the game from BBD.
I think you're going to see these players play at a much more quicker pace.
Mm-hmm.
There's 20 minutes left in the match. BBD has to win 2 games, and Ali's deck is very slow and plodding. So I think we're going to see both players play a lot faster than we saw them in the first game.
Yeah, I think they're going to need to. So, Messenger attempts to get in, and an Azorius Charm from Ali. BBD has a response to that. It is a Restoration Angel, will blink the Messenger, and Azorius Charm does not resolve.
So 2 more drain there for the Messenger. Going to put on
Yeah.
Aintrazi at 16. See if he has a verdict here. He does.
And he does. So, Angel dies, Messenger dies, and then undies. Comes back a little bit bigger.
Just a duress, it is.
BBD has a duress. We're going to see what's in Ali's hand. We've got Jace, Architect of Thought, Terminus, Sphinx's Revelation, Thragtusk, and Alchemist's Refuge.
So Aintrazi has 5th land for Thragtusk, which is the big one. Just to say, I bet you want to take this. I bet you wish that was Appetite for Brains. But the important card there is he already has the Alchemist's Refuge, which is changing the dynamic of the game, assuming that Aintrazi can get enough lands into play.
Right. So Revelation is the pick there for BBD. Now, as I mentioned, from Ali, he has 1 copy of Snapcaster, so Appetite for Brains exiles, but Duress does not. So you could see a flashback Sphinx's Revelation if that's what Ali wants to do, and has the land for it. So he plays a Thragtusk for his turn.
It undoes,
Gains a chunk of life.
Yeah, it undoes a lot of the work that the Messenger did, as Thragtusk is known to do. Undoing all the work all of the time.
Yeah, Messenger has Undying, Thragtusk has Undoing.
Yes. CBBD right now, he drew Liliana, so what he can do this turn is go Liliana, take care of your Thragtusk, Oblivion in the second half of it. He's got to expend a lot of resources to take care of Thragtusk, but that's kind of what comes along with playing against Thragtusk, is you have to expend a lot of resources to get it out of the way.
So Liliana, the Veil's going to come down, resolve, and Ali's going to have to sacrifice a creature. Sacrifices that Thrag Tusk and an Oblivion Ring to follow it up to deal with the Beast, and BBD has cleared Ali's side of the board. Ali now down to 11 after taking a hit from that Messenger.
He drew a land, so he can cast Terminus to trade 1-for-1 with this Dross Messenger if he wants to. Again, we know he has Jade's Architect of Thought in his hand as well, also to go along with that Breeding Pool and a Farseek. So he's got 4 cards in his hand, and the tough thing here for him is that Liliana's going to start attacking his hand. It's going to start ticking up now. And so he needs to figure out how he wants to mitigate this. And if do I want to cast Jace and start ticking it up, or even maybe sending it down, what I want to do. So it is going to be going down.
He's going to draw some cards here off of Jace Architect of Thought. You see Snapcaster, Thrag Tusk, and an Essence Scatter. So 3 pretty spicy spells there. He's going to split Thrag Tusk from the Scatter and the Snapcaster. So Ali has a decision to make now. Does he want the 2 spells, or does he want the Thrag Tusk? He's going to go, looks like he's going to go with the 2, but he does
it's hard pass up Thrag Tusk.
Reconsider. He does think twice.
Yeah. It is really hard to pass up Thrag Tusk in this situation, and he's not going to. Those
no, he's going to put those on the bottom.
Yep.
So takes the Thrag Tusk, plays a Breeding Pool tapped, passes back to BBD. BBD's going to crash in with the Messenger, take out that Jace, and follow it up with a Disciple of Bolas to draw some cards. So this is the Orzhov Guildgate version of Sphinx's Revelation.
BBD draws 4 cards. He draws Desecration Demon, Underworld Connections, a Obsidian, and I believe a white source of mana to actually be able to cast that Obsidian. So that was a huge Disciple there. Yes, he's not going to be able to attack well in the next turn because Disciple is going to get trumped by Thrag Tusk, but still pretty good. He's going to discard Desecration Demon to Liliana, going to play Isolated Chapel, play Connections on his land, and pass the turn back. Card left in BBD's hand right now is that Obsidian.
Yeah, quite a great turn for BBD.
Aintrazi's in some trouble now because, I mean, don't get me wrong, Thrag Tusk is a really good card to have in this situation because it's going to be able to put a halt on things, but he's still going to be in a lot of trouble because, again, BBD's attacking from multiple angles now. This is something we talked about a little bit earlier. Liliana attacking the hand, and to kill Liliana, you have to actually have to attack it. Underworld Connections drawing additional cards, and now once Obsidian comes into play next turn, now you're coming from 3 completely different areas of attack.
Ali does play that Thrag Tusk, plays a Hallowed Fountain tap to pass it back to BBD. Ali with just a Sun Petal Grove up, so not much there for him this turn. BBD is going to untap, and looks like he draws a card off of the Connections. And then he's going to activate Liliana. Ali has to discard that Terminus because I believe that was the last card remaining in his hand.
BBD doing a really nice job here of grinding out Ali. Don't let him resolve Sphinx's Revelation. That's why he took it there with the duress. He can grind his way through the other cards because he has card drawing of his own in the form of Disciple of Bolas and Underworld Connections, and he has some very difficult to answer threats in Liliana, the Veil, and Obsidian. So doing a really nice job of actually grinding out the more controlling deck with some proactive threats and card drawing.
So Obsidian comes down, blinks out. Now Ali untaps for his turn, draws his card, didn't quite see what it was. He's going to lose it to Liliana next turn unless he can deal with the Liliana now. So Ali doing some math. There's a Pithing Needle. That will deal with the Liliana. Interesting that he brought that in.
You signed up for Modern Weapons number 2. You're going to
I'm not terribly surprised.
Yeah.
It's a one of in his sideboard. It has applications in the matchup. Again, he can name Liliana the Veil. He can name Mutavault. Sideboard cards. I mean, he can name.
I like this. So he attacks the Liliana with a Thrag Tusk. Of course, BBD protects it with the Disciple, and now he's going to go ahead and play Pithing Needle, theoretically naming Liliana. He could he name that Underworld?
He cannot, because Underworld Connection says tap the Swamp.
So he can't name Swamp?
You can't name Swamp, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I wonder how that works if he wanted to somehow shut that off. I don't know that it does work. It's something that I thought might. So Obsidian comes back, and he activates Liliana. So he did name Swamp.
Okay.
So it's the mana ability is not shut off.
Yeah. So I remember Brian writing about this in an article this week. I couldn't remember exactly which way it was off the top of my head. So it is naming Swamp. It does shut off the connection. So we got it.
So Liliana, well, Liliana removes the Thrag Tusk, and Ali decides he wants to scoop it up. Try to play a game 3 here with the 13 minutes remaining.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Oh yeah,
Plenty of time. Yeah, you
mean,
can't.
that game was like
you
7 or 8
can name
minutes.
Swamp. You just can't name like Pivot Needle would be the ultimate Armageddon if you just named Swamp. They couldn't tap it for mana.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's what is it? Is it with Phyrexian Revoker that you can't name a non-land? Or you have to name a non-land?
No, actually, we're gonna bring up some cards.
Yeah,
here. That's
so
what we're gonna do.
I'm looking up. So Pithing Needle is you can name a card, which means you can name Swamp. Activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities, right? So that's Pithing Needle.
The Revoker is a non-land card.
That's what I thought. I knew there was a minor difference between them. Name a non-land. So Revoker there would not be able to deal with the Underworld connection.
Because a lot of the time you look at Revoker as a walking Pivot Needle, but it's not the exact same thing.
Right. The thing with Revoker, you can name something like Birds of Paradise, and that won't be able to get the mana out of it because it doesn't have the mana ability clause that Pithing Needle has.
You try to trick us,
Right.
but we got the internet.
That's right.
So you can't stop us unless you stop the internet from working,
And well, you could do that.
which would make life miserable. So please don't do that.
That might be coming in Theros. No internet, instant speed, remove all
I'm
internet.
done. I quit. I quit the game then. Do you remember what it was like? Life was like without the internet.
It's hard to remember what life was like. without
Right?
the internet. I mean, you go back to like, I'm even thinking times when like the internet existed, but it was like everybody didn't have a computer. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I think I had AOL. That's America Online for you very young folks. Back in like 1995 for the first time. So right around when Magic was really starting to pick up. That was when I started playing in 95.
I remember when I was young. When I was young, my dad had internet because of his job, but the house did not have internet. My best friend down the street, we used to play computer games all the time. I'm gonna date myself. We used to play Quake.
Oh yeah.
We used to play Quake.
Wolfenstein 3D.
Yeah, Wolfenstein 3D, Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
The original Team Fortress. Yeah, we used to do that stuff, and he had internet and I didn't. So I used to hang out there a lot, and we used to play video games on his computer. But my dad had internet around when I turned like 13 or 14, so I would actually go down to his computer at night. He would let me use his computer, and I would go to the dojo.
Yes, I remember the dojo well.
I would go to the dojo, and that was my only internet usage was through the dojo because I didn't know what else existed on the internet. I had no idea what I was doing.
Right. You had to like search on AOL keyword search.
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Like
I would go to the
Keyword
dojo.
Magic.
I would go to the dojo and just write down all the deck lists and read all the articles.
They were all like
them.
text files.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
All right, we're underway. Both players with just lands for the first 3 turns, and a Liliana of the Veil will be the first play of the game, and that's from BBD. Looks like it's resolved and plussed, which makes sense considering there's no creatures on board.
The only thing here, like you see that BBD played a Univolt for his 3rd land.
Yes.
He did that willingly. He does have a swamp in his hand. You know, I was wondering if maybe he was a little stuck on swamps, so he couldn't play Dross Messenger if he wanted to, but he did that willingly. So does play that Univolt and does play a Liliana Veil that does resolve.
And Aetherling is the choice for Ali. That's a pretty big hit off of that Liliana there.
Pithing Needle the draw here for BBD as well. So Liliana's going to go up to 5, and of course, if Liliana gets to the ultimate in this matchup, it's absolutely backbreaking.
Oh, yeah. So it looks like Jace, Architect of Thought, is the choice from Ali. Ali with a handful of Haymakers, and he's just losing them all to Liliana.
Yep.
So you see a Desecration Demon from BBD, and Ali has to Verdict it. Yeah, he needs to answer it. He's got a Zorius Charm now, can't play it.
Yeah, and here's the issue, right? Where as it used to be, BBD is going to cast a Sign in Blood, lose 2, and draw 2 cards. But Ali would have preferred to play a land, slam Thragtusk down, and then try to control the Liliana. But now he's a turn behind the Liliana. He can't catch up with it. He was on pace with it before because he would be on the play this game. Now it's up to 6, and he can threaten its ultimate this coming turn unless he draws a Pithing Needle or Detention Sphere-esque card.
So the draw for the turn was a Temple Guard, and we see a Thragtusk from Ali.
Yeah, makes Liliana a touch worse, the ultimate now, because if the ultimate does occur, you know, whatever pile Frag Tusk is in, he can just let it die. And
Right.
it's a 3/3 beast, so it does get a touch worse now. This is Liliana. You know, does it want to maybe make Aintrazi sacrifice? Does he want to make him discard still? We'll see what he ends up wanting to do with it, and it looks like he's gonna go ultimate style.
Yeah, so Underworld Connections draws BBD a card, and then Liliana ultimates, and BBD is going to try to decide how he wants to do this. So 2 lands Thrag Tusk versus 3 lands are the 2 piles.
I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't separate the. I'm not sure. Let's see if he had to separate the blue sources or not. So I think what Aintrazi has in play right now is like 2 Temple Gardens, 2 Sun Petal Groves, a Breeding Pool, and then Thrag Tusk. But obviously,
That middle land, that's what I'm having trouble. But it does look to me like another Sun Petal.
Yeah, it looks like what my assumption for BBD here is that he's made it so that do you want blue sources of mana or not? And if he doesn't, there's Desecration Demon. And yep, it's 2 Sun Petal Groves in a Temple Garden, so he messes with his colors here really badly, which is what he should do.
And it looks to me like Orzhov Guildgate's going to take this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to be difficult for Aintrazi to get back in this game because now Desecration Demon's here, Connections is drawing BBD cards, and if you look at Aintrazi's hand, I guess double Sphinx's Revelation with no blue mana, and I think the other card is a Snapcaster Mage. So here comes the Demon in for 6. You see Ali saying, come on and get it Keanu Reeves style from the Matrix. And this was the thing that you were that I was a little bit worried about for BBD's deck is can he really stand up to a pure control strategy like this? You know, it puts a lot of reliance on him drawing Liliana the Veil and having it resolve and come in and actually do its thing. If it's able to do that, you can tell that Aintrazi's deck is very soft against the card.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a lot of great ways to get it off the table or go about attacking it. And so if Duin was actually able to get Liliana into play underneath some counter spells, I think he would be a pretty big favorite to win, which we've actually seen happen this game. And last game, Liliana didn't come into play on turn 3, but it came into play at a relevant time and had a huge impact on the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Ali has a Hallowed Fountain, I believe, in hand now. Yeah, there it is. He's going to play it tapped. And he's trying to decide what he wants to do here. Passes the turn. Restoration Angel's going to come down for BBD, and BBD just pressing his advantage, which is huge, by the way.
Yeah.
By flashing in that Restoration Angel. So, Angels and Demons. Ali says, bring
Great
it again.
movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
Really, just really, really good. Blockbuster.
There are 5 additional turns.
I haven't seen that one.
It's terrible.
I thought so.
It's not as bad as Elysium, but it's pretty bad.
Underworld Connections drawing BBD a card. And Geralf's Messenger going to come down. I mean, this is going from worse to worser for Ali Aintrazi.
I mean, you just really see the power of Liliana, honestly. That's what that showcases, right?
Yeah.
Where, you know, a card by itself changed the way that Aintrazi had to play the entire game. You see him extend the hand. Braun Duin's going to win this match 2-1. Black-white mid-range, quote, Orzhov Guildgate, unquote, defeating Bant Control. Braun Duin moving on to 6-1. But you see the power of Liliana and just how one card on its own can change the entire dynamic of a matchup.